Welcome, everybody. Wednesday, May 17th. John Aravosis here at the Aravosis Report, getting my microphone ready. How's everybody doing? This is my nightly show, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S., where we talk about the latest news from Ukraine. As always, I've got people from TikTok and YouTube and everything else. Let me get TikTok going here on my iPad, and then we are going to wait 2 or 3 minutes for folks to get notified and arrive on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, etc., because it takes a few minutes once folks get the notification. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves, say who you are and where you are from, our little tradition we do. There we go. TikTok's rolling now. And there you go. So, hello. What's going on? I've got my nephew here again with the fiance. They are busy making homemade pasta, tagliatelle, and saltimbocca. I was like, okay, if you insist, I guess we'll have that for dinner tonight instead of frozen pizza. So that's going to be fun. Oh, anyway, hello all. Yeah, it's going to be very good. Yeah, he's a good cook and likes to splurge on expensive food. It's like, okay, if you insist, I'm not going to complain. Everybody is good here. Adjusting my screen. Anyway, hey, y'all. Good evening. As I said, we always wait a couple minutes just for folks to be able to arrive. So give us a moment for that. Wait, who? My nephew's visiting with his fiance, and he likes to cook very fancy food. So he's making homemade pasta and saltimbocca, veal, without veal. He's using pork, but still very good. And probably a little nicer, although the little porks are probably not any happier than the little veals, but nonetheless, what do you do? Anyway, Cologne, Mario. Anyway, hi, folks. Yeah, you're all, well, actually, Ashley's not too far. You all can come over. So we'll go another minute or so while we're waiting, and then we'll start the show. This way, like I said, gives people a chance to arrive, which is nice. So anyway, I'm trying to think. It's not a busy news day. It's a good news day, but not a busy news day. Kind of weird. So we'll see. But we've got stuff. Well, it just means for once we'll actually have you guys we won't be rushed for questions for once. Hey, Moonbeams from Twitch. I see the Twitchers flying or filtering in or whatever, SB, etc. Got a number of you already. Excellent. The smoke. No idea. There's no smoke here. Not in Chicago. No smoke here. Michigan, yeah, Michigan's getting it from Canada, I believe, if that's what you mean. But I'm not seeing it here. Did Fox fire somebody else? Not that I know. Did they? I don't know. Maybe something happened when I wasn't checking here. All right, guys, let me get rolling. So welcome. I am John Aravosis. This is the Aravosis Report, my nightly show, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S., where I talk to you about the latest news from Ukraine. Just so folks know, I've got TikTok over here on my iPad, and then over here on my laptop, I've got Twitch and YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and maybe something else. Oh, hey, Jim. How are you? It's always fun to see like old friends pop in. Good to see you. An old friend just popped in on Facebook. How exciting. A beach friend. I think you were one of the beach friends. Pretty sure you were. In any case, so the way the show works is I take the first half of the show or so and talk about the latest news, try to pick the stories that I think matter from what's going on in the war, walk you guys through them, like what I think is actually going on. And then the second half of the show, take your guys' questions. But you can submit questions if you want on TikTok via the Q&A link that is in my profile on TikTok. You guys, the rest of you, can obviously use the box at the bottom of the screen. I also am very pleased if you decide to send super chat questions or super stickers. Thank you, Knausi, for the gift on TikTok there. Super chat questions are basically questions on TikTok that you can buy as a gift. Basically, most of the money, TikTok gets, not TikTok, Google. YouTube gets some of the money, but most of it does go to the creators, which is nice. And as a thank you for the super chat questions, I will always get to those as the next thing I talk about. So even though we'll wait for the second half for questions in general, super chat questions I'll get to now because it's a thank you for the gift. And thank you as well for the gifts you guys do on TikTok. I will always try to do a shout out when I see the gift, flying on the screen. Usually I'm pretty good about it. Occasionally it flies by when I'm not looking. And maybe if the mods or somebody want to tell me, that would be, Mandy, excellent. I'm going to see about, actually, right as we start, one of the mods goofed up, so she got knocked off. So I'm knocking her back on, so to speak. Manda Bear. Oh, it's being a pain in the ass. Manda, We're going to have to wait because TikTok is evil. Actually, that's not true. If I see a comment from Manda, if I see a comment from her, I can maybe make her a mod. But Manda, I got to see your. There you are. Okay, hang on. Here we go. Yes, that I can do. There we go. Boom. Okay, that should have done it. That should do it. There we go. We had a little bit of an issue with Manda's account. She unfollowed me in a fit of anger. No, I'm kidding. She accidentally unfollowed me and it screwed up the moderating. All right, let's get rolling here. So it's day 447 of Vladimir Putin's 10-day special military operation in Ukraine. The news today is not terribly newsy. I mean, there's some good stuff, which I want to talk about, especially about the Patriot missiles, but there isn't a ton of news today. You know, Bakhmut, the Ukrainians might have moved up a little bit more. Remember yesterday, the latest was that the Russians, Bakhmut is, as always, get out the handy dandy map. Bakhmut is the Ukrainian city in eastern Ukraine that the Russians have literally been trying almost 11 months now to take. It's ridiculous at this point. What the Russians, I mean, there's a mania going on. It doesn't even make sense what the Russians are doing trying to take this town. They've lost so many men, so much equipment. But nonetheless, we got Bakhmut. The Russians were starting to take, yesterday they were starting to take a little more land go inside Bakhmut, but the Ukrainians were taking more north and south of it. So kind of a wash still, which honestly, any kind of a wash goes to the Ukrainians' favor. Thank you, Ellie, for the star. Because Russia should have been able to take this town months ago. That was the thinking. Then again, you know, a lot of us obviously thought Russia was going to win the war at the beginning anyway. So every day Ukraine is able to stop Russia from taking Bakhmut, but especially when they're getting land back, the Ukrainians are winning land back. It's just an embarrassment for the Russians. Anyway, the big story today is this Patriot missile battery. So yesterday, you may recall, and actually last night wasn't nearly as bad a night as the night before. So the night before, the Russians decided to go crazy and just throw like 18 missiles. I think it was 18 missiles at the Ukrainians, especially in Kyiv. They were going after, this was 18 just in Kyiv. It looks like they were doing a couple different things. They were angry at Zelensky. Thank you, Michael, for the hat. They were angry at Zelensky because he, actually, I wanted to see something really quick because I saw, beep, 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 beep. Oops. I was trying to see your last name, Michael, because it was showing BRZ, and I was going to say, are you a Brzezinski or what are? Oh, you're close. You're a Brzezicki. Okay. I'm going to say Brzezicki is how I'm going to get, because I used to work for Brzezinski, so I know how to pronounce those names. That's funny. Okay, very funny. Yeah. So you've got to be Polish, I'm guessing. Anyway, welcome. So the Patriot missile batteries. So the other night, Russia goes crazy. Thank you, Lori, and decides to throw 18 missiles at Kyiv. They're angry that Zelensky had just had a very successful. Oh, you had to be with that last name. I'm assuming, yeah. The Russians were angry that Zelensky had a really productive weekend going to Germany, France, Italy, the UK, getting a lot of promises for weapons and everything else. Thank you, TikTok Novice, for the seal there. And so the Russians decided just to blow up Kyiv and be jerks about it. But also, they were not happy about the Patriot missile batteries. We know that, I think starting in January, the training began for the Ukrainians to learn how to use the American Patriot missile batteries. Patriot missile batteries, basically system for shooting down incoming aircraft, cruise missiles, drones, whatever you want to shoot down, right? Thank you, Colleen. The thing is, they're very expensive so that you don't really want to use it to shoot down just anything. So you probably wouldn't use it on a cheap drone, for example, right? You'd want to save it for bigger missiles that are really important, that cost a lot themselves, the missiles the Russians are sending, but also that can do a lot of damage. So what happens? Last week, the Patriot missiles are now working. And the first big test that we know of for the Patriot missiles, the Russians decide, thank you, Jonathan. And I mean, actually, it really is kind of funny how this story played out. Last week, the Russians decided they were going to take out the missile battery, at least the one missile. We don't know how many there are in Kyiv, but they were going to take out the missile battery in I believe, Kyiv. Actually, the first one might not have been Kyiv. The first one, I think, might have been eastern Ukraine. And they fire at the missile battery, at the Patriot missile system, and the Patriot missile system sees it coming. Thank you, Phil. I don't know if you had a question there. If you did, feel free to post it in there. The Patriot missile sees the Russian missile coming, and basically the Ukrainians said, well, if you're going to try to blow up our missile system, why don't we use our missile system to blow you up? So the Patriot missile fires back, destroys the Russian missile. Well, Thank you, Kanalsi, for the confetti. Why is this a big deal? Well, I mean, obviously, it's nice that it worked destroying a missile, but it didn't destroy any missile. It destroyed the Russian Kizal. I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, but basically the hypersonic missiles. Thank you, Killers, for the hat there. The hypersonic missile, which for it to be officially a hypersonic missile, it has to go at least 5 times the speed of sound. Right? So speed of sound is like 550 miles an hour or so. So you're talking 2,500 miles an hour at least, probably more. It should be more on the order of 5,000, maybe even 7,500. I mean, this thing is super fast, right? Except we don't really know if the Russian missiles can actually do that because Russia has a problem with lying. And we've talked about this before, right? Russia lies. And they claimed they claimed that these are hypersonic missiles to start with. And if they're truly hypersonic, they should be very difficult to shoot down because they're going so fast that our anti-missile system, right, is having a much harder time tracking them, et cetera, right? And then, because also our missile system, think about it, it's like hitting, it's like if you ever go skeet shooting or anything else, right? You don't fire at the skeet, the thing flying in the air. You have to fire where you think it's going to be, right? So you're kind of following it, shooting a little bit ahead of it. Well, the same thing happens with the Patriot in the sense that, thank you for, who was that, Michael, for the marvelous confetti. The Patriot system, I was seeing something the other night on it. It fires and figures out where the missile's going to be that's coming. So it's basically, figures out that the missile is going to be here. So here's kind of where it's going for, more or less, right? If the missile is going faster, it's harder to intercept it. That's just logic. Well, bottom line is the Ukrainians blew up the first one. The U.S. investigated. We used whatever means we have, and we determined that, yes, the Ukrainians blew up the first Russian missile last week, hypersonic. Big deal. Russia was pissed off. Russia was very upset about it. It gets worse. So the Russians decide to go for round 2. Thank you, Dora, for the May gift. The Russians decide to go for round 2. And they decide, well, okay, that first time was just lucky, right? That the Ukrainians were able to shoot down the hypersonic missile. Mind you, these are missiles the Russians have been bragging about for years. Okay, they have been basically saying doom and gloom, America, NATO, we're going to blow up. Remember earlier in the year, they even said this, we're going to blow up your cities and blah, 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 blah. You can't stop us. They were doing the, I'm bad kind of thing, right? So 2 nights ago, the Russians are pissed off that Zelensky got back. Noah, you know what? Feel free. That's a bummer. Feel free to ask the question anyway, Noah. Go ahead. Roshan will make sure I see it. If it doesn't show up, feel free to post it anyway. And Roshan, just make sure I don't miss it, okay? So 2 nights ago, the Russians decide we're going to throw everything we've got at Kyiv. We want to hurt people because this is what they do. They try to hurt people. We want to embarrass Zelensky because he's just coming back from his big trip to Western Europe. And even though last week we failed, this time we're going to blow up the Patriot missile battery. We are going to throw everything we've got at it and blow it up. So they fire 18 missiles at this thing. 6 of them, this is what we believe. 6 of them were these hypersonic missiles. Again, if they're even hypersonic, who the hell knows, right? But 6 of them are hypersonic missiles. There were 6, there were 9. I'm pretty sure, yes, 9 were the Caliber missiles, cruise missiles coming from ships in the Black Sea. So 9 of them were from Russian ships, like down here, okay? And mind you, you're shooting at Kyiv up here, right? So 9 of them are here. The other ones are probably coming from planes. So the 6 hypersonics are probably coming from planes over here in Russia, would be my guess. And 3 of them are, I don't know, I think they were Iskanders. But anyway, another kind of ballistic missile the Russians use, right? Just another kind of missile. And a slew of drones. Well, the Ukrainians shot everything down. The Ukrainians say they shot everything down. Certainly at this point, Russia has not shown anything to contradict that. Thank you for the flowers. Who was that real quick with the flowers? That wasn't Cecile, was it? Oh, it was Cecile. Thank you, Cecile, for the tulip box. And a couple different things here. Backing up, thank you, Brian, backing up that the Ukrainians did shoot everything down is that the Russians didn't really do any damage. They didn't do really any damage to Kyiv. They bombed the zoo. Okay, the zoo animals can't really defend. We'll give Russia that. They were able to bomb a zoo. Congratulations. But they didn't really do any damage anywhere else. But it looks like they had harmed, at the time, the Patriot missile battery. The Russians said, of course, they destroyed it. Unlikely. I am not an expert on Patriot missiles, but I do know it's called a battery, right? Because it's not just a missile. It's a whole system that has multiple parts, and the different parts are in different places. So if you're going to blow it up, you kind of have to blow up the whole thing, right? You wouldn't just blow up one part. Now, if you blew up one part that was the radar, that would actually make it very difficult to use. You couldn't use the system until the radar were replaced. So there is that. But the Russians couldn't just blow up the whole thing. They would need multiple missiles. But the Russians say, oh, we blew it up. It was destroyed. And the Ukrainians are going, no, I don't think so. Well, U.S. goes and sends investigators yesterday. The U.S. has concluded that parts of something fell on our Patriot missile system and damaged it, but they only minor damaged it, and it is still functioning. Okay? Thank you, Leanne, for that. And remember what we said. I'm already forgetting who it was. Noah. Oh, okay, Noah. Oh, you were just thanking. Okay, thank you, Noah. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry it didn't pop up, but thank you for that. Oh, thank you, Daniel, for the disco ball. Very cute. So we're saying with the other night. So the Ukrainians shot everything down. Some kind of material fell, damaged the Patriot, only minor damage. It still works, so that's good. Some of the thinking is that because the Ukrainians blew up all the Russian missiles, it's possible that some of them, you blow them up, and it's not like they vaporize. You blow them up, and now you've got missile that's blown up and lots of metal falling to earth. So it's possible some of that metal came down and destroyed the Patriot, not destroyed, but damaged our Patriot missiles that we gave, the battery that we gave Ukraine. It's also possible, because there was a video showing that what looked like the Patriot missile, like shooting, and then immediately something coming down and blowing up at the Patriot missile launch site. It could have also been a faulty missile. This happens. It happens with Patriot missiles. It happens with all missiles. There were some famous ones at the beginning of the war that we were laughing about because they were the Russian ones that came up, and you'd literally see the missile come up, turn around, and come back down. It happens. So it's possible that this was a Patriot missile itself that took off, started coming down, and blew up. Thank you, Beaches, for the rose that blew up. So we don't know. Bottom line is they're still working. The Russians were not happy. Thank you, Stephen. And the best part is that now, this is the best part of the story, okay? Now, the Russians are saying, today, the Ministry of Defense in Russia says, we blew up 5 of the Ukraine, 5 of our, wait, I'm trying to remember what the number was. They claimed that their missiles got through. I think they said 5 missiles got through, and they claim, oh no, it's 5 or so Patriots. Yes, the Russians are claiming, I did have it in my notes. I'm trying to do this without looking at my notes. The Russian government is claiming it destroyed 5 or so of the Patriot missile batteries. And you're going, okay, sure. But then get this, okay? The same day, the Russians say, oh no, our missiles did very well. Those hypersonic missiles destroyed 5 Patriot missile batteries. The same day they're claiming this, what do you think the Russians did? Thank you for the crown there, by the way, real quick. Up. Mike, thank you for the crown. The same day the Russians are claiming incredible success with their hypersonic missiles. Oh my God, they're so good. They worked so well. They destroyed the Patriots. They arrested the 3 scientists who helped make the missile and charged them with treason. Now, this is Russia. It's a dictatorship. Nobody necessarily knows what's going on with these scientists, why they're being charged with treason. But the fact that these scientists who made the missile have been charged with treason, literally the next day after these missiles get blown out of the sky by a system that supposedly could not blow them out of the sky, and by people who certainly, the Ukrainians, are not developed enough people to be able to shoot down the great hypersonic missiles of the wonderful Russian Empire. These guys get arrested and are being charged with high treason. Okay. Right? I mean, like, okay. Again, thank you, Stephen. If these missiles worked so well, you'd think they would find a way to forgive these guys whatever they did. I think they arrested these guys because the missiles aren't working. And it's yet another culture of graft, of corruption. Keep in mind, some of the culture of corruption in Russia is stealing money and stuff. Some of it is simply lying. Like the Russians just would lie about their exercises. They would lie about preparing their troops. They just wouldn't do it. So they would, oh yeah, we've had lots of exercises, lots of practice. They just wouldn't practice. So it's entirely possible that maybe the money was spent on these missiles, but they lied about the results, right? These guys, Putin doesn't like, I mean, this is, by the way, one of the problems when you have jerks as bosses. I mean, like I had that woman at the United Nations in UNDP, who was the head of communications. I didn't lie to her, but it's not somebody you want to tell the truth to because she was a bully. right? Bullies, you want to make bullies happy, and you make bullies happy by not telling them what's going on or by lying to them, right? So Putin, a lot of people lie to him. Anyway, so it's great news all around. The grain deal has been renewed for 2 months. You remember that last summer, July, let's go back even before. The war gets launched February of last year, and the Russians decide to threaten all of Ukrainian trade. Now, this is countries, this is water, this is water. So this is actually other countries, but this is water here. This is how Ukraine, this is the only, this and this that the Russians have stolen is the only way are Ukraine's only ports, right? Because all of this is landlocked up here, okay? So the Ukrainians were exporting grain. They're one of the world's biggest producers of grain and similar products like the Russians. And they were exporting grain from Odessa, and I always forget if it was Chernobyl or whatever the heck it is, some town right south of here, I think with a C. And they're exporting the grain down here, going through the Straits of Bosporus or whatever it's called by Turkey, and then going into the Mediterranean, right? Between Greece and Turkey and going out to sea. Selling stuff to the Middle East, selling stuff to the Egyptians, you name it. And going to Asia, going to Europe, everywhere, Africa. Well, the Russians last summer decided they weren't going to let anybody sell the Ukrainians grain and buy Ukrainian grain. Partially the idea was they wanted to deny money going to Ukraine. Partially it was they wanted to create a crisis in Africa and the Middle East by basically starving people and creating another migrant crisis. That if people were starving, they would get up and leave and flee to go somewhere better. And that's somewhere better, if you're in the Middle East and North Africa, is literally get your boat and go across the water and try to get to Greece, Italy, Turkey, France, etc., Spain, right? So Malta even, but you try to get to all of these countries. Well, so the Russians cut off the grain. A deal is reached last July with the United Nations, Turkey, Russia, Ukraine to basically continue exporting the grain. It has to be renewed every once in a while, and every time it's renewed, the Russians try to kill it. This time the Russians tried to kill it again. Finally, the United Nations was able to broker a new deal. It's now been continued for another 60 days. So 2 months from now, we're going to go through the same thing again with Russia threatening to kill it, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you guys Ashley noticed. Yes, you've got, I did create new emojis for the paid subscribers on TikTok, by the way. So TikTok, how's my sound doing? Somebody says the sound is gone, but I think it's probably okay is my guess, because the rest of you would have told me. Am I right? Sound is good? I'm assuming. If it's not working, you guys will tell me. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I did. I spent last night, I put new emojis up. I was very proud of myself for the paid subscribers. They're very cool. So the grain deal is renewed for 2 months. Next story. Yep, there's Leanne and Phil's. Thank you guys. Make sure I actually had shown you guys there. Oh, Callum's going crazy there. The F-16. Okay, here's another weird story. So, you know how there's been a lot of talk about F-16s and how Ukraine really wants them. These are American fighter jets, kind of old now, but they're very good. Good American fighter jets. Ukraine wants them to fight the Russians. Biden has been saying no. Europe has been oddly coming around, but it's not quite making sense. Thanks, Joanna. I mentioned yesterday that I wasn't understanding what was going on. What I mean by that is something weird's going on. Britain gets together with Britain. I'm using the old words we grew up with. The UK and the Netherlands get together yesterday and say they're launching like a coalition effort or something to help get training and planes and everything for F-16s for Ukraine. At the time, I said, okay, that's interesting, but a little weird, because the White House gets asked on Monday about it and says, they said, have you changed your mind about giving these F-16s to Ukraine? The White House says no. White House is saying no about giving them the planes. And in the end, it's up to the White House, because it's the America that makes the F-16s. We get to decide where our planes go. Even if you buy them from us, we get to decide if you can give them to anybody else, right? So I said yesterday, this doesn't make sense. Why are Britain and Holland and the Netherlands making noise about this, like if the U.S. is saying no? Because I guarantee you, they're good allies of ours. We are a big ally of theirs. There's no way they would be causing this kind of trouble pushing F-16s if Biden was like telling them privately, stop it, we're not doing this. So it almost as if the administration is a little bit open to it, right? Well, today there was pushback. Today, magically, and by the way, it's not magic. I guarantee you the Biden administration did this. Thank you, Lee and Hazel, for the gifts there. I guarantee you the Biden administration did this because I've worked in politics for 30 plus years. Today, magically, Britain comes forward and says, well, let's be clear. We don't have F-16, so we can't get you planes. Germany comes forward and goes, let's be clear. Either we don't have them or we don't have them to spare. I don't know which one it is with Germany. Thank you, Down to Earth, for whatever that was, the heart. And who's the third country that said this? It was Britain. Hang on. It was the UK, Germany, and Poland. Poland says, let's be clear. We don't have F-16s that we could get. Poland does have F-16s, but we don't have F-16s we can give you. All three countries came through a day after we were hearing all this news about, oh my God, Britain and Holland are getting together and they're starting a coalition and Zelensky's all excited. Three different countries come out and say, well, wait. Okay, we're not going to, we're not doing, like, just be careful, right? Just be careful. We're stepping back from this. Very weird. To me, that's the Biden administration stepped in. So that worries me a little. Okay. It worries me a little because clearly they were like, guys, you're getting ahead of yourselves. Having said that, a little bit more today via the New York Times. The Netherlands is among 4 European countries that are willing. Oops. We're breaking things in the kitchen here. Thank you for the seal there, Monica. The Netherlands is among 4 European countries that are willing to send US F-16s to Ukraine, the others being Denmark, Belgium, and Norway, a senior Ukrainian official familiar with the talks said on Wednesday. Those 4 states currently have at least 125 combat-ready F-16s in their arsenals. The senior Ukrainian official said Kyiv believes that for now, at least, it needs 24 to 36 of the jets. Listen to this part. So the New York Times, further down in the article, and today they mentioned what I told you guys yesterday. Listen to this. I would be surprised if the allies who are involved in this kind of notional coalition, meaning the allies that are working together to try to get these planes for Ukraine, the F-16s, I would be surprised if the allies who are involved in this kind of notional coalition had got out this far without at least some kind of tacit nod and a wink from Washington that this was going to be okay. And this was from an expert with the IISS, International Institute for Strategic Studies, I think it's called, a really big think tank in London, very, very esteemed. He's saying the same thing I'm saying. These guys are getting way too out ahead of themselves for Biden administration not to have basically told them, we're not going to do it, but if you want to do it, go ahead, maybe wait a few months. There's something weird going on here. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting why, first of all, why Biden just doesn't just do it, right? But also why publicly we even made them step back today. We made those countries, I guarantee you, we made those countries step out today and go, well, slow down kind of thing. But anyway, whole thing's very weird. Anyway, I'll do a quick pitch for my Discord and we'll continue. I've got a Discord community, which you guys can check out. It's discord.aravosis.com. It's another way of supporting my work because I do this for free, but I've been doing it full time since the war broke out. So, when I say for free, no one's paying me. The people who are paying me are you guys. The gifts you're doing on the show, from TikTok to your super chat questions, your super stickers, the gifts you do just via PayPal and everything else, the subscriptions you've been doing on Patreon or on Discord, and the auctions that we've been doing on Discord. Actually, we've been doing a number of auctions for Ukraine, and 50%, it's cool stuff I've been getting from Ukraine. 50% of the proceeds I'm sending back to Ukraine. We've been using it to help the military and humanitarian aid. Thank you for that, DAK for that. And 50% goes to support my work because I'm doing this for free, as I said, full time. Thank you, DAK, for that again, for the hearts. So check out our Discord. We've got a lot of cool auctions that actually most of the auctions just ended today. I set them up once a week. They go for a week and they end the same day. Most of the auctions are done today. We did have cool, I will show you anyway, because we did have a few cool things. Or did I bring it upstairs? Maybe I did bring it upstairs. Hang on, you all. Oh, here it is. Yes. I'll show you just my one little favorite auction item. But we've got these really cool, hello, computer screen. We've got these cool parts. This was already auctioned off. Thank you, Happy Beach. They're bits of a Russian fighter jet, Su-30 SM, that was shot down over eastern Ukraine at the beginning of the war. And we were able to get pieces of them, which is really cool, that we're auctioning off. This one, somebody already won today. Congratulations. If you're on my Discord and you bid on it, make sure you go back and check. But in any case, go check out the show, Roshan, where Bakhmut is. Okay, thank you, Stephen, for doing the super chat question. Bakhmut is all the way over here. Yes. This is what Bakhmut is. I don't know why I'm doing a German accent, but for some reason I am. I know Colonel Mustard missed out. There will be another one, but Colonel Mustard missed out today. He got beaten out on it. But do check out the Discord because, as I said, it's a fun community for the paying subscribers. We get together on the weekend, possibly Saturday or Sunday, we're going to see, because the nephew and his fiance and I may go out Saturday to Chicago. So if we do, it'll be Sunday. I'll let you know as we approach. But we're going to do a weekend hangout where it's just the paid subscribers on TikTok, the paid subscribers on Discord, and we all hang out together and talk. And it's a nice private get together. And then I also do a weekend review on Twitch. That's available to the public. Anybody can go. It's my Twitch account is Aravosis, the same as my TikTok and some of the other accounts. And it's not this account on Twitch, it's my other one. It's an affiliate account, so you can check that out. But bottom line is, if you can afford it, please go to my links on TikTok. Please go to my aravosis.com at the bottom of the screen, or the tiny URL. Check out my Discord. If you can, please join, because it's free anyway. If you can afford it, let's see if my sound, sorry, the sound had disappeared on YouTube. I'm seeing and everywhere. Let's see if it came back. All right, YouTubers and everybody else, is the sound back? And I know the picture is back. I just put it back. Is the sound back now or not? Sound is good now? Okay. I know you guys are okay. Okay, good. Yes, Kukla got into at the same time we were doing this. Mom's dog Kukla gets into a garbage bag Mom put on the couch and forgot to take out. So I'm hearing crinkle, 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 and I'm like, oh God, what is going on? Of course, it's Mom's dog getting into garbage. Like classic. So anyway, you missed that. You guys missed it. You guys got to watch me run over there and go, no. All right. Ukraine told China today, because there was a Chinese peace envoy, Ukraine told China today it will not agree to any territorial loss, in other words, giving up territory for peace. Finland and Denmark's bank accounts in Russia have been frozen. Russia's being kind of jerky, especially because they're pissed at Finland, of course, because Finland just joined NATO and Denmark's already a member of NATO. Retired U.S. Army Special Forces soldier has been identified. He died in Ukraine recently. He is an American citizen, was killed in Bakhmut. Retired Army Staff Sergeant Nicholas Maymer. He was in a building in Bakhmut when it was attacked by artillery. He was either killed by the building falling down or by the actual gunfight itself. They don't know. But anyway, he died. But he gave his life for Ukraine, which is very admirable. Per CNN, Ukraine's security service has registered criminal proceedings against 6 bloggers in Kyiv. I wanted to read you this because I think it's important. Basically, whether these people did it because they thought it was cool or they were trying to help Russia, they were filming the attack the other night, right? On the Russians attacking Kyiv and filming it and showing it on the internet. Well, the problem is it has been made very clear, especially in Ukraine, people know this. You don't do this because the Russians need to see this video in order to know how well their attack went. They want to know, they basically want to say, okay, look, okay, audio scripts. Okay, good. They want to know, our equipment told us to fire here. Did it hit here or did it hit there? Well, it's nighttime. They can't tell. By looking at the videos people post, they're able to know, did they hit the target? Do they need to hit it again? How far did they miss? Right. Oh, my mic. Sorry. Thank you. Now I'm dropping my mic for the TikTok folks. How far did I miss? Basically, by looking at the videos, the Russians can adjust how well they're doing with their targeting. Well, these 6 people decided they were going to post a ton of videos of the attack the other night. Listen to this. On the night of May 16th, they took unauthorized photos and videos of Ukrainian air defense and posted them on social media. Among other things, they recorded the results of Russian cruise and ballistic missile strikes. In this way, they could reveal the location and specifics of the Ukrainian air defense systems. In a matter of minutes, these videos were picked up by numerous Telegram channels and Russian propaganda publics. Among them are internet resources controlled by the special services of the aggressor country. So basically, these people are in a lot of trouble now. And it's, in general, people are told to be very careful about sharing stuff they see online when these things are happening real time. But especially in Ukraine, they know this. They know not to do this. And they did it, and they're in real trouble now. Final thing, that's it. That's it for the news today, and we'll do questions now. But the final thing is we do have a store as well. Please go check it out. It's store.aravosis.com. You can find it, again, through the link in my profile on TikTok. Find link on the bottom, aravosis.com. But the store is cool because we've got a lot of cool Ukrainian-themed stuff. And as always, the Ukrainian-themed stuff, half the profits I channel back into Ukraine, half of it go to me because I'm doing this full time and quite literally I need someone to pay my bills because this is my job and nobody's paying me except you guys. So I thank you for your gifts again, as always. All right, let's get rolling here. So questions, snitches get stitches. Exactly. Loose lips sink ships. This is exactly what happens. And except in the internet age, you're literally helping them target. You're helping them, like I said, see. For example, if your video is really close, they're able to look and go, okay, that was a mile away. And those thank you, Tom, for the confetti. That's a mile away in the video, and you can see the anti-aircraft coming from here. So that means there's an anti-aircraft battery right there. And now they know to hit it, right? And they know real time because literally, thank you, Stephen and Hazel, literally you posted the video right after the attack, which is incredible. On so many levels, it's incredibly stupid, but what do you do? All right, post your questions on TikTok in the Q&A link in my profile. The rest of you can use the bottom of the screen. Certainly the super chat questions, as I said, are always welcome as well. There, Phil was just putting funny stuff. And Shane, thank you for the seal there. Very cool. Yep, Operation Security, big deal. Right, triangulating and just, actually, you can also just look at the video. I mean, when you look at videos, you can look at a video and I mean, think about it. It's kind of a simple concept, but if you've got a video of, stuff launching away, you take the video and you run it backwards and you literally go, oh, it started right here. That's where the missiles are, right? It's, it's not rocket science. It's a very bad thing, obviously. All right. What else we got? All right. Well, let me jump in and go right now for TikTok. Oops, come on, TikTok. Where is this? Oops. It's throwing me into other lives. It asked me to end my live. Do not end my live. I would be very upset if you ended my live. Ukraine keeps asking for tanks and aircraft, but who would man them because they have a limited number of troops? I mean, the thing is, it's not that many. If you think of it, right? What was the number that I said? They said for F-16s, they want, was it 35 or 45? 24 to 36 jets for now. 24 to 36. They've got 24 to 36 men and women, right? That's just not that many people. First of all, they'd have to be trained anyway, right? So there's only a certain number of people who are trained on them, but it's just not that many people, right? So the jets, I mean, there you go right there. On the jet front, it's not going to make any difference. What I mean is, it's not like, oh my God, it's taking so many people, Now, having said that, thank you, Inspired Woman, for that. It's a few more people than that, right? Because you've got to have somebody to maintain the jet parts. Oh, thank you, JR. What was it, JR Ellip for the video game? Very cool. Appreciate that. So it does take a few more people, but it's still not that many, right? A couple dozen just isn't that many people, really, or even if it's 200 people, right? And it's worth it. You take them off of something else because this is so important of a project, right? Octavio, just showing your appreciation. Thank you for that. And someday I'll get it. I'll see your answer when you tell me, is it Latino or is it like Brazilian or what's because I see Machado, but when I see Octavio, I sometimes start thinking Brazilian, like Octavio Machado, or you could be an Octavio Machado. Anyway, just curious. I speak Spanish, so I enjoy and worked for a little bit of time in Argentina and did some work in Mexico and lots of fun stuff. So I enjoy knowing more about Latin America. And then again, you could be Spanish or Brazilian too. Or Spanish or Mexican. Oh, okay, there you go. I was going to say you could be Spanish or the other guys, Portuguese as well. Mexican, there you go. All right. Another question. Oh, I thought it said somebody muted Callum on TikTok. I was like, somebody muted Callum. Uh-oh. What did he do? Who is this? Robert is saying that the Netherlands is replacing F-16s with F-35s, which are the really nice new fighter jets. Ukrainian pilots are being trained now, so they are ready to fly F-16s as soon as America gives the green light. Good. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with this. I mean, like I said, it seems that we've given the green light behind the scenes, but publicly we're still making it look like we don't want them to get the planes. I can only guess it's some weird psych game we're playing with Putin or something. I just don't know. I don't know. Lily is saying they were videos of the Patriots working. Oh, those were the videos they're in trouble for. Ah, I see. Okay. These were the Ukrainians, the 6 Ukrainians that got arrested for, are they calling it treason? Let me see. What was the, let me see this really quick. Criminal proceedings. I don't remember if it said treason. I don't think it says treason. They're criminal proceedings against them. I don't know what the actual charges are, but yeah, video of the Patriots working is really freaking stupid. Also, because Patriots are, they're not easy to move. So they're not the kind of thing you fire and then go, okay, well, before the Russians fire back, we'll just move them. So you don't want video that's showing exactly where these things are located in town. That would be very bad. Very bad. It could be. I mean, Jens is saying on Twitch, maybe they're psyops. Maybe, in other words, maybe this whole, I hope so. I'm a little suspicious, but maybe this whole effort of Biden saying no, and the F-16s is trying to con the Russians into thinking it's not going to happen anytime soon. Whereas at the same time, like you guys are saying, all the training is secret, not secretly. We even know that Ukrainians are being trained. All the training is happening of the Ukrainians in Western countries. And maybe they're going to get the F-16s before anybody even knows it. And they're going to surprise the Russians. That would certainly, I mean, I would hope that's the case, right? Better than telling the Russians publicly what's coming, because that just, is annoying. And we talk about that a lot, about how it seems like we're always telling the Russians like yes or no on which weapon systems we're sending, which is kind of annoying. Craig Prescott, thank you so much for your question. Super chat. I wonder if the F-16 thing is a question of logistics and they have arrived already, like heavy weaponry before. I mean, we know logistics. Well, there's a number of logistics questions. One, the U.S. getting them to Ukraine. Which ones the U.S. even had available to send there. I will say one thing that I read yesterday that I thought was interesting. I was reading about Taiwan. Kokla? Jesus. My nephew went to Costco and he's got one of those big plastic containers that the Costco croissants come in, but it's empty. And she's sitting here trying to knock the container open so she can get inside of it. And she's not succeeding, but damn, she's persistent. I'm watching her just move this thing up and down, up and down. But I'll tell you what's really smart too is she's at the part that opens. She's literally hitting the part that it's not open yet, but the part that you would open by hand. Boy, that dog is not stupid. Not a stupid dog. Anyway, I mean, she's a stupid dog sometimes, but she's not a stupid dog. Thank you, Zink, for the heart. Susan, you're very sweet. Wait, let me get Craig's first. So yeah, it's I was going to say it's U.S. logistics, getting the planes, getting them ready, getting them there. It's also a question of U.S. parts, because we may have to supply repair parts, although you would think that would also be the Europeans being able to do it, because there are F-16s in Greece and a number of other countries that I just mentioned. They could also, in principle, supply, well, the repair parts, but even possibly repair the planes, possibly, if you can get them there. Then there's the Ukrainian logistics. There was a lot of talk about how the Ukrainians themselves will need to keep these planes working, and that's going to be a lot of work as well. So all of that needs to be learned and done and set up. Honestly, I'm hoping it's like the cruise missiles, that all of a sudden we found out Britain was going to be sending these long-range missiles, and the next day they were already there and being used. Or the next day they were already there, and then within a day or two more they were being used, and now the French are sending their long-range missiles too. So hopefully it's just like I hope it's going on behind the scenes. Yep. Susan is just being crazy generous again. This is for our great mods, and I will keep it safe. Exactly. Thank you, Susan, for that. Pull another. Why has Belarus shut its Russian border? Have they though? I don't know if they have. Have they? Oh, no, that's interesting. Okay, Kelly is saying that the wreckage of the decoy missiles that accompanied the Storm Shadow at Luhansk last week was the first that the public knew about these decoy missiles being sent to Ukraine from the US. So we shipped them without people knowing. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Um, Thank you, Scott and Zink. And who? Wait, there was something else here. Scott and Zink, or were you? Oh, you were the two that sent gifts. Yep, and making sure nobody else had sent something I missed. Um, yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, yeah, because we basically what we found was, or the Ukrainians or whoever, the Russians found was a number of American decoys were sent by the Ukrainians when they sent the British cruise missile last week to attack this factory or whatever it was in eastern Ukraine. They also sent a number of these cruise missile decoys that are really cool because they have all these electronics on them that can mimic other airplanes. So they can look like a B-52, they can look like a cruise missile, they can give off a signal looking like whatever they want. And the Ukrainians flew these at the same time to trick the Russians. So the Russians would basically go after the more important target they could see rather than these cruise missiles. But that we didn't know about it, which is interesting. That is very interesting. Okay. Oh, froze on Twitch for a minute. Hopefully it's back. Let me see here. Julius with a super chat question. Thank you, Julius. I've heard some talk of Ukraine getting the Iron Dome defense system. Here's what. Okay, yeah. So really weird. In the last week, Israel has some very good defense system for incoming missiles because they're always getting attacked, and the U.S. contributed like $2 billion or something in addition to the Ukrainian, the Israelis doing it on their own. Israel developed the system. The U.S. helped them, paid them a lot of money, right? So Israel got this Iron Dome system that we helped them develop, and it is a very good system for shooting down incoming rockets and things. The Israelis also are developing, or whether they have developed, I don't even know what the status is. But you guys were telling me it's the laser version of the Iron Dome, which is really cool. A laser being able to shoot down rockets, very cool. In any case, they've been refusing to give this stuff to the Ukrainians in the lab because they didn't want to upset the relations with the Russians. In the last week, a defense official was asked about this. U.S. Defense Department official was asked and said, I think like a general or somebody was asked, and they were asked about this and said, well, didn't the U.S. help? We gave Israel $2 billion for the Iron Dome system. Doesn't that mean we get a say in how they're used? Why don't we give one to Israel or to Ukraine? And the defense official said, well, we have an extra one we're not using. Ukraine simply has to ask for it. And I'm reading this going, really? First of all, what a weird thing to say, right? Well, you never asked me. Oh, it's like some bad sitcom joke or something, Actually, it is. It's like the Wizard of Oz. All you had to do was want to go home. That ending always pissed me off. But the same kind of thing, like, oh, Ukraine just never asked. Silly Ukrainians. So something's going on, but that's probably what you heard, because I read it too and went, okay, Ukraine simply has to ask for the Iron Dome and they'll get it. That'd be nice. That G42 says Iron Dome is the most elite and rocket and plane system ever developed. Again, great if they can get it, but weird, very weird. I just don't know. Twitch keeps freezing. There's nothing I can do, guys. Now, are the rest of you free? Now, you guys are okay. Are the rest of you freezing over on my laptop or not? YouTube, etc., Facebook. The Twitchers are having an issue. Although the comments stopped, which makes me think it did freeze. Connections are having a bad time today, kids. Hang on a second. Let me look here. Oh, it's back again. Okay. All right. It's back. Okay, good. Sorry. Thought you guys disappeared on me. All right. Let's do a few more questions here. Actually, we're good on time. I could even end on time tonight. I am in Chicago. For like another week and a half, and then back to Washington. More questions. Yes. Alex says, I had read that a hypersonic missile is supposed to be fast, Mach 5 plus. That is correct. Twitch was twitchy. Okay. Thanks, Chris. And highly maneuverable in high speed. Russia obviously has none. They lied. That's the thing. It looks like they lied. It's not clear. It's not clear what the Russians were claiming. What I mean is, I even saw some of you saying it was something like reentry or whatever. I don't know. They lied. Yeah, they lied. Having said that, maybe our stuff is just so good. Did I just say not rocket science? I don't think I meant to. That's very funny. I was talking about tracking the missiles and I said, oh, that's right. It's not rocket science when I was saying about seeing. Yeah, well, although that isn't rocket science if you're simply reversing a video. But, thank you for the galaxy there. Who was that? Oh, J. Rollup or J.R. Ullup? I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but thank you. I'll call you J.R. Thank you, J.R. It's funny. I never really realize when I do the Russian accent. People say my impression of the Russian accent. I really don't realize I'm doing it, and then I sort of do it. But yes, they lie about the missiles. Yes. Yes, Putin arrested the 3 scientists for treason because the missiles got shot down. We don't know if it's because the missiles got shot down. We do know that 3 of the scientists responsible for building these hypersonic missiles are now in prison for treason. They got arrested for treason. High treason, I think, like it was like big treason. The Russians announced. So, again, you do the math. You do the math. I mean, I think the missiles didn't work and the Russians are pissed. The Russians are super pissed. And by the way, if the missiles worked, we'd know. I mean, there would have been, had those missiles actually blown up the Patriot missile batteries, they wouldn't have existed last night. They would have been blown up 2 nights ago. And last night, the Russians would have destroyed Kyiv with the same attack. They didn't, right? Because the missiles worked again. Do I read the comments on my post? Yeah. If you mean the videos I post on TikTok. Yep. I was there today. I was even cleaning out some of the crazy trolls today on TikTok. Yeah. What if Putin, who is this? George. What if Putin poisoned the president of Belarus, says he has to take over Belarus to keep it from NATO, and uses it as an excuse to leave Ukraine for now? I mean, I don't think he's gonna. Well, here's the thing. Well, that's interesting. Actually, that's kind of funny. Thank you, going to something, find out for the heart. I see what you're saying. What you're saying is, so we've got Belarus. Belarus is a puppet state of Russia, a vassal state, even not just a puppet state, but basically, country kind of run by Russia. Right up here, Russia's over here and everywhere else. Belarus is up here, run by a dictator for, I was reading, God, maybe 3 decades. I didn't realize he was there for 3 decades. I think I read today it was 3 decades. But dictator who's been there forever. And he's been sick and nobody quite knows what's going on. Like whether he's dying. I mean, he's went in public, but he sounded terrible, whatever. Putin certainly doesn't want to lose Belarus as a puppet of his, right? So what you're suggesting is that using that as an excuse, like, oh, we've got lots of problems in Belarus, we've got to hang on to them. We need to cut our victory or cut our losses or whatever. And you can, here's the problem. It doesn't really work that way. What I mean is, Putin can say, okay, war's done, we're leaving, we're leaving, but we're going to Belarus. The problem is Putin is still controlling 17% of Ukraine. He's not just going to leave, right? I mean, he's certainly not going to give up Crimea, that we know, but we also don't think he's going to give this up. So if he were to go back to Belarus, he would simply say, well, I'll go back to Belarus, but I'm going to leave troops here. Well, unless Putin gives all of this back to Ukraine, Ukraine's going to keep fighting. So the war goes on. So the war doesn't stop just because Putin says, well, I'm going to focus on Belarus now. The war will only stop if Putin gives all of the stolen land back to Ukraine, right? Or else Ukraine's going to keep fighting for it. So the question then becomes, is Putin really going to pull out and just abandon, all the land that he still holds, the 17%? Not clear. Yes, I have Julius's question. Starred, one moment here. Hang on. Yep, we had the Iron Dome, and then the second one from Julius. Here we go. So if the scientist got arrested for treason, why is Prigozhin still free? When he offered to give Ukraine all Russia's troop positions. So thank you, Kanowski, for the paper crane. Some pigs are more equal than others. Last time I screwed that up, and I think I said it was 1984. That's from Animal Farm. And it's the concept that, yes, we're all equal, but some are more. In other words, it's the too big to fail concept. He's too big to fail. He's too big to prosecute. He's too big to throw out a window, to throw off a balcony, to give poison tea to. He could still be a friend of Putin's, too close of a friend of Putin. He could be doing this at Putin's request. Who knows? I mean, what if Prigozhin is the head of the Wagner group, the mercenary group that's been fighting mostly in Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine, and he's the one who's been complaining about not getting enough weapons from the Ministry of Defense and all this kind of stuff. What if he's doing that on purpose. Like what I mean is, what if Putin wants him to do it? If Putin wants it, if it's some kind of a ploy with Putin, Putin's not going to kill him for doing it, right? So, I mean, who knows? I mean, first of all, too, what if Putin's not even doing it to trick us? What if he is actually trying to slap the Ministry of Defense into doing a better job, and he's doing it by using Prigozhin to kind of attack them, Team B? Prigozhin saying, look at the shitty job you're doing, and then the Ministry of Defense is like, ugh. I mean, I don't know, but clearly he's too important to kill. Whether it's because he's in collusion with Putin and everything that he's doing, Putin approved and is requested, or he's just still too powerful. He's got his own army. He's still got, I don't know, 30,000 men, whatever he's got, or more. I think he's still got 20 or 30,000 at least. Is that why, that you sort of take him on? He's a darling of the nationalist right in Russia. Is that the problem? Because, Putin needs the support of the nationalist right. Now, the nationalist right is like super far right. They think Putin isn't doing enough. Like he's not being mean enough to Ukraine. I don't know. It's a really good question, but I just don't know. Hang on. Oh, there's Julius's. All right. Sorry. You said Dan had a good question. What's Dan's good question here? Hang on. Oops. I don't know if I'm going to see Dan's good question. Oh, Dan's. Hold on. Oh, I saw that, but I mean, okay. Dan saying, I did see your question earlier. Can we sell Ukraine the F-16s, F-15s for like 100,000 each? That way we can say we gave them nothing. Yeah, ha ha ha. No, no, because we're still giving them F-16s. So whatever the concern is about giving them F-16s probably isn't a monetary issue. My guess is it's Biden thinks, again, I think absolutely it's escalation. Putin's going to get very angry if we give the F-16s, right? Oh my God. That's my guess. I know what I was going to say. I saw something yesterday that I swear said, thank you, Canalsi, for the lock and key. I swear yesterday I saw something that said that U.S. shipments of F-16s to Taiwan have been delayed for a while. And I saw that. I'm 99% sure I saw this about F-16s. And I read it and thought, mom's dog, of course, barking in the background. It's always her dog. I read it and I thought, okay, that's kind of weird. Like, are they being delayed? Thank you, Wayne, for the heart there. Are they being delayed because they're going to Ukraine first, right? Or are they being delayed? Thanks for the sunglasses too, Wayne. Is the fact that they're being delayed for Taiwan mean that if we don't have enough to get to Taiwan, and we're worried about Taiwan right now, right? Thank you, Brock, for the heart. And was there somebody before you, or was that you? That was Scott with the star. That's right. Thank you, Scott and Brock, both. I appreciate that. If we don't have the F-16s ready to get to Taiwan, and we're very worried about Taiwan and China possibly attacking in the next few years, then we certainly don't have them ready for Ukraine, right? So either it's an indication that we just don't have any F-16s available. So if we can't get them to Taiwan, we can't get them to Ukraine, or it's evidence that we are getting them ready for Ukraine, and that's why they're being delayed going to Taiwan. I don't know which. Thank you, Brock, putting it out there as a possibility. Thank you, She Crew, for the heart there. I can pull up another TikTok question. I don't know, Day. Day's asking, why the hell are we so worried about what Russia might do to us? I really don't know. And what I mean is because Russia's options are very limited. Very limited. Kelly's saying she thinks Taiwan will get the F-35s. I would think so, because we're probably going to give them the best we can. Yeah. I don't know. I think we spend a lot of time worrying about what Russia's going to do, meaning, oh my God, we're going to make Russia angry. And if they get angry, what will they do? When it doesn't really make sense, because in the same way that our hands are tied in a way, meaning we worry about Russia, Russia worries about us. Right? Biden talked at the beginning of the war about, oh my God, World War III. If we get into war with Russia, it could be the end of the world. Well, Russia worries about that too, right? We can't afford a nuclear war with Russia. Guess who else can't afford a nuclear war with Russia? Russia can't afford a nuclear war with America. They can't afford it either, right? And it kind of bothers me, because from an American perspective, we're always, and I think our government's doing it a lot, we're always going, oh, we've got to do everything to stop a nuclear war with Russia, so we better not get them angry, when in the end, you don't think Russia's thinking the same thing, right? Because let's plot it out. if there's a nuclear war with Russia, the world ends and we all die. Okay. That would be bad for Russia too, wouldn't it? If the world ends and we all die, I think it would. And I think Russia's not stupid. They may be a little crazy sometimes, but they're not stupid. They know that literally killing all life on the planet wouldn't be good for the future of Russia. So why would they be more willing to get into a nuclear war than we would? I don't believe they would. I mean, I think they're nuts. I always say I don't think they're nuts, but they're not nuts. You know, I mean, they're jerks. I could use a nastier word, but I'm being clean on here. They're jerks, but they're not crazy. You know, and again, you got to be careful because we all do have nukes. So you're careful. You don't want accidents to happen. You don't want misunderstandings to potentially lead to things. But come on, you know, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Let me do another question or two, and then we're going to go. Because then I'm going to go inside and see how although I'm guessing the food, as always happens when you have people like making big special dinners, we're not going to probably eat until like 8 o'clock, I'm guessing. Little Wolf going to bed. Oops, let me see here. Look for another question on here. I was looking at your guys' questions here as well on the screen to see. Why don't we give Ukraine, who is this? XQYZ. Why don't we give Ukraine some of our older tanks and planes? We all know Russia uses older stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, well, keep in mind the U.S. Well, we are to some degree. I mean, we're giving the older M1s now, right? We were going to give the M2s, the Abrams tanks, and now we're giving the M1s because they're more readily available. I don't know how much older we get than M1 tanks in terms of whether we've even got them or whether they're worth. Because what I wonder is, I don't know enough. Maybe some of you military folks know. My concern would be, are they even ready to use? Like, do we have them on mothballs? You know, are they just old and sitting in warehouses that it would take a year to get them refurbished anyway, or two? And then if we're doing that, why not get them the better tanks like the M1s? That would be my guess as to what's going on. That's my guess. Beep, 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 beep. Sorry, looking. Oh, yeah, Joanna. Joanna had a quick question. Sorry, Joanna. I don't get that the Belarusian president keeps on licking Putin's boots. How doesn't he see that Putin is using him and that Putin eventually wants to steal his country? Because he almost lost his dictatorship a few years ago. The people don't like him. I don't even think the military likes him, but the people really don't like him in Belarus. And he almost lost his control of the country. Thank you, Paul, WLC, or Paul LC. I'll call you Paul. Thank you, Paul. So that's why Putin had to come in and put down a revolt, basically, of his people rising up. I don't know if it was 3 years ago, whenever it was, in the last couple of years. So that's why. So he owes Putin, but he needs Putin because without Putin, he could get overthrown. And when you're a dictator, you know, he's worried. I mean, it's entirely possible the man is not a patriot. I mean, I'm not saying that ironically. What I mean is, maybe he just wants to be in power. I mean, some people are in power and they literally think I'm what's best for the country, but maybe he doesn't care if the country gets sucked into Russia and becomes part of Russia, or maybe he does care and he thinks he's threading the needle very carefully here, you know, but that's what I think is going on. All right, let me do a quick summary of the news, guys, and then we're going to call it quits so I can go inside and see how dinner's going with my nephew and his fiancée. So it is, here's a quick recap of the news we covered today. It is day 447 of Vladimir Putin's 10-day special military operation in Ukraine. The U.S. sent inspectors yesterday to check out the Patriot missile battery that was damaged in Kyiv. It looks like it had minor damage, but is still working, which is great. Russian government is now claiming it destroyed 5 or so Patriot missiles or batteries in Ukraine. Nobody thinks so. I'm not going to go to Discord, no, because I would, but because I've got the family stuff going on, I'm going to skip the Discord tonight. Because I want to go and see them because they're visiting. I never get to see them. So I promise another night we'll do Discord. Actually, tomorrow I can probably do Discord, though. The Russian government is now claiming it destroyed 5 or so Patriots. It didn't. And if it did so well attacking the Patriot missile batteries, why did it arrest? Hey, what are you doing now? Why did it arrest and charge with treason the 3 scientists who helped develop the hypersonic missiles if the hypersonic missiles are doing so well? The grain deal was renewed for 60 days. F-16s, Germany the UK and Poland all pushed back today saying, well, we can't really give F-16s to Ukraine. So something weird was going on that front. I think the US pushed back a little bit. Ukraine tells China it will not agree to give up territory for peace. Finland and Denmark's bank accounts in Russia have been frozen by the Russians. A retired U.S. Army Special Forces soldier was killed in Ukraine and identified as retired Army Staff Sergeant Nicholas Mamer. CNN says Ukraine security services have registered criminal proceedings against 6 bloggers in Kyiv who were dumb enough to show video of apparently the Patriot missile systems shooting down missiles in Ukraine the other night in Kyiv. But the problem is that is incredible intelligence for the Russians. Ukrainians know that, and they know they're not supposed to do it, and these guys did it anyway to get clicks, or because they're spies. It's one or the other, and now they're in jail and they're in serious trouble. So there's a lesson for you all. All right, I'm going to get going. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tomorrow, I promise we'll do a Discord. I say promise. We should do a Discord tomorrow night, hopefully. I am there during the day, though. I'm checking the Discord out during the day all the time. So feel free to come to the Discord and hang out. Usually, especially our Ukraine discussion on the Discord, we're there all the time. So, I mean, I'll check in like 5-10 times tonight easily. So all of you should check. Okay, you know what? Noah, you're going to leave us for that because you're either a spammer or a troll. Sorry, I had to get rid of one little guy here. He's gone now. Goodbye, Noah. Goodbye, Noah. Thank you, Hazel, for the gift there. I appreciate that. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to go. You can ask a question in Discord. Sure. Yeah, feel free to. Yeah, just make, put it wherever you want, but do the, at Aravosis thing. You know what I mean? So it highlights it's to me and I'll see it in my little thing. Yeah, feel free to. But I mean, I check in. Thank you again. Who was that with the little heart that popped up there? That was somebody else. Was that? Oh, JR. Thank you, JR, for that. Yeah, I've got a lot of Nico. Oh, that was Nico. Thank you, Nico. It hadn't updated yet. Thank you, Monica. But yeah, I check in all the time on the Discord. Like, I mean, a lot throughout the whole day. Also, because I'm checking on the auctions. So the last auction item may have just finished, and then I'm gonna probably tomorrow I'm gonna put up the new auction items. Again, lots of cool stuff, and then they'll be up there for the next week till next Wednesday. So far, the way I'm doing it is they go for a week, and then Wednesday's the big, they end this way. I can mail them out tomorrow or Friday. Thank you, Blue Shift, for that. Blue Shift. Oh, thank you, Blue Shift. I'm like, I'm going, thank you, Blue Shift. I know who you are. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. That was cute. It took me a second. I went, wait a minute. Who's that? Thank you, Magical, for the hearts too. You guys are going to keep me on with the gifts, aren't you? I can tell you are. But in any case, yeah. So thank you. I would block me too. What was I going to say? Oh, anyway, yeah, the Discord. So feel free to go to the Discord. It's fun. Hang out. It's free. Like I said, if you want to support my work, you can pay. You can become a paid subscriber there, but it's free anyway. Thank you, Paul. And it's fun. We have a lot of fun hanging out, actually. Thank you, Tom, for the heart there. But it's a nice place. Like we're talking about it's other topics too. But we're talking about Ukraine all day long, really. There. Thank you, Flower Lady and Scott. We're talking about the topics all day long. So it's kind of a nice place if you just kind of want to check in and see what's going on. You got questions about what's going on, stuff that I didn't actually get to, or stuff that other people, a number of folks there. Ben, one of our mods, is there. Ben's great. I mean, he's up on a lot of this stuff. Ben's like, a younger version of me, I think, in the sense like Ben and I seem to channel each other when we answer people's questions. So Ben can probably give you a pretty good answer to your question as well, because I haven't really disagreed with him about much of anything lately, I think. So, and the other guys are there. Roshan's there, and a lot of the other mods are there too. So people are there also to help you if you're having tech problems, or I can help you with the technical problems as well. So do check it out. All right. I'm going to go. Like I said, go see family in the other room. Thank you, mods, for helping out tonight, of course. Thank you, everybody, for all your gifts. You were all very generous on both platforms, so to speak, you guys and you guys. I appreciate all of that. What's Ben's profession? Who knows? I don't know what Ben does. Ben just knows things. It's scary. I don't know. He's one of those people who just, like I said, he knows things. I don't know. No, he does though. He just knows a lot. I mean, I don't want to just single out Ben, but he's very good and he knows a lot of stuff. So we got a number of people like that. I mean, Mike is posting a ton of video updates throughout the day of the news updates. Roshan's cracking the whip and keeping people in line. Callum's providing comic relief. It's the whole gang. Ashley keeps them from eating each other. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Like I said, do check out the Discord, discord.aravosis.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, okay? All right. Bye, all. Thank you. And yeah, we made 100,000. Excellent. All right. Thank you, TikTokers, for getting us to 100,000. I saw you doing that in the background. I appreciate it. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. Okay. All right. Bye-bye.